He's a tactical genius, he's the one to see on VP4TV. He's wild and he's free. Eyeball top number 50, you and me. With his cunning moves, he's rocking endlessly. Tables and cues, they bend to his will. Every shot he takes gives everyone a thrill. With a glance and aim, he works to the skill. In the ball, lights from the chill. Tables and cues, they bend to his will. Every shot he takes gives everyone a thrill. With a glance and aim, he works to the skill. In the ball, lights from the chill. Tactical genius with every play, making magic happen every single day. In the world of billiards, he knows the way, taking every shot with prayers we say. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. From the corner bank to the perfect cut, he wins the game without a single strut. Chalk it up, just a fortune or luck. But skill like his, it never gets stuck. On VP4TV, he's the showstopper. 9ball.com's the king, no one can top her. Watch him play and you'll be a hopper. He's the man, we all shout proper. Tactical genius with every play, making magic happen every single day. In the world of billiards, he knows the way, taking every shot with prayers we say. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. Rack him up, he steps to the ground. Crowds gather round without a sound. With a twisted stroke, his fame is profound. Every victory makes our hearts pound. To the perfect cut, he wins the game without a single strut. Chalk it up, just a fortune or luck. But skill like his, it never gets stuck. On VP4TV, he's the showstopper. 9ball.com's the king, no one can top her. Watch him play and you'll be a hopper. He's the man, we all shout proper.
Welcome to VP4TV. We have live streams from all the major championships held in VP4 online. On many occasions, I'm also joined in the commentary booth by virtual pool game developer Steve Chaplin. I am Tactical Genius, aka 9ball.com, aka Hugh. Welcome to VP4TV. We have live streams from all the major championships held in VP4 online. On many occasions, I'm also joined in the commentary booth by virtual pool game developer Steve Chaplin. I am Tactical Genius, aka 9ball.com, aka Hugh.
Where's the cue ball going?
Oh dear, outside, never mind.
Right, folks, good afternoon or good early evening, whatever you want to call it. Welcome back to VP4TV. We're here for a round 2 match in the 2026 Virtual 9-Ball World Championships in VP4 Online. It's a match between a multiple champion, Cobra. We all know who he is, representing the UK, and somebody I've never seen shoot. I've never seen him play, don't know anything about him, vmaxjoe, who I think has just arrived back in the lobby. He was there earlier. I thought I scared him away, but he is here. Now, I'm going to tab out for a second because I don't know whether Steve's going to join us, but if he is, I can't see my bloody commentary booth in Discord. Hang on a minute, just bear with us. Yeah, I don't see it. I see Slim's channel. I set up Slim's channel. I set up my own VP4 commentary booth, but I don't see the damn thing. I'm going to do an update or see if there is an update for Discord. Something has gone awry here. Something has gone very awry with my Discord, and I've done nothing to it other than shut it down yesterday, start it up today, and I don't see the commentary booth. Let me see where this is. Let me just shut it down. For all I know, Steve might be in there, but he might be in there on his Discord, but I can't see it in my Discord for some bloody strange reason. I have no idea why. Right, we'll start it up again and see what happens. We're maybe going to miss the start of this match. What time is it? It's gone the top of the hour. Let's see if this resets itself, hopefully. That is bloody weird. That's the first time that's ever happened. And I have no clue as to why that's come about. No, it is not there. Now, I'm going to go into the room and see if Steve joins the room, because then I'm going to have to explain to him. Oh, this is bloody annoying. Why does this happen to me? Why does these things happen to me? I don't know. Maybe they're lagging off at the moment. Right, well, vmaxjoe is breaking off. Race to 19. Break box and play. No jump cues. Golden breaks are on. Rack money brings the rack up the table. And, well, I have no clue how to do. I mean, I'm going to have to set up a a new channel or use Slim's commentary booth that's still there. Oh, what the hell's happened to mine? I have no idea. Maybe Steve, well, he would be in the room to let me know that he's in the channel, but he hasn't messaged me or anything to say he's going to be there. Slim. Right, well, that's fine. Do us a favour, Slim. Go into Discord and tell me what you see. You should see Slim's UC TV and tell me if you see the VP4 commentary booth, because it isn't there for me. I have no idea why that's going on. I mean, I'm the admin, so nobody else can delete it as far as I'm aware. And I mean, as far as I know, I never deleted it in error, so I have it's just totally mind-boggling and baffling. Right, Cobra said that this chap had a fair idea what he was doing, but you know me, I always like to see a few shots from the new player to make a judgment on what sort of level and ability and knowledge that he's at. He's just, I mean, I don't even know how long he's been in VP4. I haven't even checked his profile, but he's on a 2050 rating, which obviously is way short of where Cobra is. Let me have a quick tab out again. Hang on. And go back to this. Yeah, I mean, there's one bloody channel there now. Why's that got a... Ah, there it is. I found it. But it wasn't showing for some strange reason. I'm going to disconnect out. It must be maybe an update that they've done to change the layout of the bloody place. See, this is the thing. They do updates to these things all the time. And I'll tell you, it just bloody does my head in. You suddenly switch the thing on. Yeah, you see it, but I didn't see it. And now I found something else, and I clicked it. I clicked a thing that was green, and suddenly VP4TV opened up. Anyway, apologies for that, guys. No more messing about. Obviously, as Slim says, Steve should be maybe joining later on. Well, Cobra has scratched.
Where's the cue ball going?
So here we're going to get the first taste of this chap and see how the brain works, because this is the thing that always interests me, whether a player's thinking in his feet and knows where he's going and what he's going to do. Clearly up table, we've got a 6-9 that's not exactly sitting as a combo, but you can certainly make that as long as you get fairly decent on it. So we'll see how he goes about it. 19-4. Is that you actually making a judgment interchange X on the fact that you've seen this fella playing? Because the obvious thing there is making that call might suggest that you have had a look at him. I say I've never seen the fella play, and he's not exactly in the perfect position to play this combo, so he needs to go right down and have a good look at it. You've got to cut across that 6 ball, and he is doing that. A quick look from this end. You can see the gap that's there. And you've just got to give this every chance to go in. You can't overcut it too soon, and you don't slam it. Well, he's going to go 2-0 down. It was not a gimme that. It would have been probably easier had he got himself closer to it. But Cobra ends up getting off the hook from a scratch, and it's 2-0. Right, let me have a quick read at that in the chat. Hang on a minute. You got his rating above 2100, but hard to get. Well, that's probably, very similar for most players that play Cobra. I don't want him to get despondent though. You know, he's 2-0 down. The big thing is you don't panic when it's a race to 19. Now the thing is, unless you know your limitations, if he's one of these players that just simply goes for every ball he sees, it won't do him any help in his prospects. But you know, that all remains to be seen. I'm reserving my judgment. He's got to get a hold of the cue ball here to avoid traffic. Well, he's running loose. Now he can play this into the far left corner. And he's got to watch if he's going to roll this plain ball that he doesn't drop into the side pocket. I don't think he will, though. But he's not looking at the cut. He's not looking to cut this in the side, is he? Yeah, that was a big... Oh, he's going to fluke the 8. He's fluked the 8. Well, there you go. You got to make the most of that. Now, the line that he's taken here, he might have to check this cue ball if he wants to stop it coming around and going on the short side. Well, he's had a bump in the 4, and of course, look what happens. Hooked himself up. Well, I stayed up more or less all night to watch that England, and what a tortuous watch that was. What a talk about excitement and pressure and the atmosphere in that stadium. Did anybody else watch it? It was incredible. The Mexicans were baying for blood all night. England got those 2 quick goals. They were looking good, even though obviously the Mexicans had a lot of the possession. And then suddenly a loose ball in the box comes out to I can't remember his name, but he was unmarked and he just boots it into the roof of the net. And suddenly it's 2-1 before half time. I mean, and then you think, well, how's England going to cope with this? And suddenly, you know, it was going to be all guns blazing for the Mexicans in the second half. And then an England player does a crazy tackle, red card every day of the week. And suddenly they're down to 10 men with all the extra 11 minutes at the end of it. They had more than 30 minutes to survive with 10 men. It was a great effort from England. But the thing I've been saying about England during this championship is that somebody else has to step up. They can't rely on Harry Kane in all the matches. And Jude Bellingham did his bit. And he's probably going to have to do it again in this next match with Norway. And you've got 2 deadly strikers up against each other. Haaland, who cannot stop scoring, and Harry Kane pretty much in the same boat. So that's going to be a great match to watch. I'm looking forward to that. And then there's a match tonight that's going to clash with this Spectre Dawn match at 8:30. You've got Spain and Portugal. What a battle that's going to be. Ronaldo trying to help his team survive. I don't think Portugal will be favourites, I have to say that. Well, I mean, in all honesty, you know, we make fun of it, but I'm rooting for England because, and I said this in a previous stream, it's the best England team I've seen in 40 years. They keep going on about this right back problem that they've got, and yes, they do have a problem. But I think the pace that they've got, you've got, you know, Saka, Bellingham, you've got Harry Kane, you've got a lot of talent, a lot of pace in that team. They could blast anybody away on their day. The problem with the World Cup is you just have to produce every match. That's the problem, and it's a tough ask to win the damn thing. But I think this is their best chance, especially when Brazil have gone south, Germany's gone. They've got to think their odds are pretty good. And I do think their odds are pretty good. But like I said, it can't just be Harry Kane all the time. They've got to get contributions from all over the park. So anyway, the bad news for vmaxjoe is 3-0 down. Now, this one ball needed to bump something. He needs to get lucky behind the 3, and I don't think he's getting that either. Well, let's see whether he's got the stomach for the fight. That's the other question. Is he going to hang in? And if it is going to be a pasting and a beating, then whether he's going to be able to take that. Because, you've got to face the big bosses in this game if it's your first time out in a major championship, which I think it is. I've never seen him in any other tournament. But maybe he's never seen Cobra. I don't know. I mean, he's soon going to learn what Cobra's all about. That's one thing we can guarantee. But the more the scoreboard goes up, the more concern I've got that he might just want to chuck it all in. So the sooner he can get himself a rack in the board, he might need a bit of help to get that. Probably the better for his own cause. So Cobra, I think, can just hold this cue ball very comfortably. Wants to get probably as square as he can in this 8 ball. That'll do. He can just, I think, let me have a look what angle he's got. Yeah, he's just going to drag it off and still be on the 9, no problem. Well, that match, the match that we did yesterday with Albinario and Interchange, actually, if you look at my channel, I think there was 250 views on it, which is a record for me, I think. So I think we had a top head count of like 24 people watching it at one time. But 250 views in one night is a record for me, and Cobra's done it again. He's going to get annoyed at that. He's going to definitely get annoyed at that he's scratched twice. And once again, though, he's left the table ugly here for vmaxjoe. Now, let's see whether he can use his head a bit here. He's going to maybe smack into these and try and create something. Well, he just rubbed the 3. And he's left himself in a tricky situation here. He can maybe just clip that to the right as we look and bump the 6. As long as he gets a ball to a rail. And he just got a ball to a rail and no more. That 5 ball just grazed the bottom rail, but it's not a difficult kick, though. And this is going to go into the gap, I think. It does cut. But it's, well, I say it cuts, it's far too tight, though. You're going to catch that 9 ball 9 times out of 10. It's too tight. Now, he's got a shot here where if he's got the touch, he can duck here. Well, he's going all out for the bank. He's got the bank, the double bank. But look at where the 5 ball is. If he's going to come down this left-hand side, he's clearly going to be hooked. He's going to be really lucky if he gets any sight in this 5 ball. So this is where you need to then use your ability. And again,
Where's the cue ball going?
he's tracking straight into the pocket. And Cobra's got the same problem, obviously, in creating a shot in this 5 ball. And he's looking to see where he can get the best possible line. He's trying to sneak into that gap there, I think. I think he's trying to sneak right through to the gap. And he's going to get it wrong, I think. He's going to get it wrong. It was a good idea, but it was a very tight line that he had to go to get in there. Unless he was intended to actually go to there. But I think he was trying to get in the tight line. Now, this is, unless Cobra can get really good here, he's trying to tie up the 5, take the deliberate foul. Now, can he get the cue ball in that gap? He certainly can, and he doesn't need to move the cue ball. He just needs to leave it there for the 6. Right, so don't do anything too soft that you're hooked behind the 8. You're not going to fall into that trap. He's bumped it out of the way, but again, the problem is he's going to have to work this cue ball. Got to watch that side pocket if he's digging in. Right side pocket. Well, he's sort of bottled out there, hasn't he? He's bottled out big time. He never went through with any shot. I don't know what he was intended to do with the 8 other than a really thin cut or a bank. But he says, "Oh my God, I think he choked a bit there." And this looks a very good line for Cobra. And this is where I'm afraid vmaxjoe is going to be found wanting. It could be a messy business, this, by the end of the match. Well, interchange X. 19-4. Is anybody else prepared to give this a call? I think interchange X, well, he's as good as called it right so far. We're still waiting on vmaxjoe getting off the mark, and it looks more and more like he's going to need some assistance here for that to happen. You know, maybe fluke a 9-ball or something, you never know. And he's going all out for the bank again. But all he's done there is given Cobra a shot. 19-3 by Albinari. Again, you know, having seen what we've seen so far, you're probably about right. Well, Cobra ended up pushing that 1 ball onto the rail. He's going to come up smelling the roses again. I think there is an edge, though. I think there's an edge. Let's have a quick look. Oh, yeah, there's an edge now. He's got to get this cigarette paper thin. And I'm talking cigarette paper. And again, far too heavy, far too thick, touched like a sledgehammer. So already we're seeing the frailties in this player. And he's now learning the hard way. He says he can't handle the pressure. That's not a good sign either when he's starting typing that in the chat. we might not be here long, folks, so don't build your hopes up for a conclusion or going all the way. It might end up fairly quickly, or he might pull the plug. And you know, I've got a lot more respect for players who are, you know, they are getting, you know, in above their head. But you've got to learn from this. You've got to see where your limit is. The cue ball movement, processing the information and actually being able to execute shots. You've been asked all the questions. You know, you might be okay messing about in a challenge room, but you're always going to get found out when you turn up in one of these events. Doesn't matter how good your rating is in a challenge room, because you can get away with a lot in a challenge room. You might quickly drop a few points in your rating, but you might quickly get them back. Well, Cobra's just going to have to manage the cue ball here. This he just go straight down and come back up. And again, I think he's judged that pace not too bad. He is a bit short, and he's on the rail, so I think he's fine. He can go forward and run this. Yeah, he's fine. Well, I said when Cobra was in the stream the other day, welcome to Jose. I said it may well be a bloodbath. I think Cobra was trying to pull the wool over my eyes, saying that he was reasoning. I don't know what he said. I can't remember what he said, but he was making out that you know, he's got a fair idea how he's going to go about things. But in all honesty, we've not seen a great deal to suggest that he's going to pose any threat whatsoever to Cobra. 6-0. Well, Cobra's doing everything to try and scratch every break. I've seen him. He almost scratched again in the other corner pocket. Comes up dry. And vmaxjoe is, again, this pot everything mentality, plays the combo. Now, when you've made that decision, this is where you then have to do the business. And again, he's overdone it, I think. Has he? Has he got enough of that 2-ball? Just enough. Well, once again, the movement of the cue ball is all wrong. And it's the old hit and hope. Is he going to land on top of the 3? Not quite. Nobody else is saying good evening to you, Jose. Nobody's interested. That's pretty sad, isn't it? I hope you're using Google Chrome. I actually watched a bit of my live stream last night. I went on to my YouTube channel and watched it through Google Chrome to see the subtitles coming up, the live subtitles. They work pretty good. I mean, there's the odd one where, you know, sometimes if you're mumbling a bit, it doesn't pick you up properly. And, well, Cobra has got a thin cut in this. He's going to probably spin this up a wee bit to bring it over to the left. He might go up and down to get into the middle of the table so he can get a sighting as well. He's going to take his medicine and just leave it at distance, and probably that's the best idea. But now he can only pot the 5 into the same pocket, so he's going to have to manipulate this cue ball again, 3 rails, and maybe come around and bump the 8 ball if he can and not scratch. Well, he's heading that direction, and the bump on the 7 has maybe undone him. This is, well, tell a lie. I mean, that 5 ball's comfortably off the rail, so he shouldn't really have any problem in potting this. Well, we've had 2 first-round matches where the scores were 19 racks to 1. And, well, vmaxjoe has to have a target. He has to have a target of at least 2 racks somehow or other. Because the one thing he's not going to get is any sympathy at all from Cobra. He's gone a bit straight here, but he's just going to run through and tweak it out a wee bit. Almost went a wee bit too far, but again, there's no reason why he should ever miss this. So we've got one more match on the schedule tonight, folks. Polka Bouter with Spectre Dawn, and I'm thinking that Polka Bouter is in a better class than this chap. I would think that. I have seen Polka Bouter a wee bit, but I would still think he's got a lot of work to do to stay in there with Spectre Dawn. And Cobra this time, the 1 and the 3's gone. Shot in the 2. Again, big work to do with the cue ball to get anywhere near this 4. Well, he's going to be hooked, I think. Yeah. Well, he's got a feather edge. He can actually just bunt this onto the long rail in behind the 9 and go to the long grass with the cue ball. That's a shot here. Unless he's thinking he's going to... Well, he didn't want to do that. He'll be annoyed at that, because he should have actually spun that up a wee bit to avoid the 7 and get that cue ball right down here. So again, this 4-ball looks fairly tight on the rail. You know, you can certainly see the 4, no problem. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough when you're, you know, when you're definitely nowhere near the class to challenge people like Cobra. It is really tough, and everything just racks up even more the more racks that disappear. Well, he could nip round the back of this 6. There's a risk of bumping it, or he can maybe check it up a bit. In fact, looked fine to me there. The angle looks totally different when you're not behind the cue stick. It looked as if he might have had to run around the corner there from the angle looking at it from this end, but it was all fine. Well, at the moment, there's been mistakes from Cobra. Errors on the brake that we've seen. But that's pretty much it. When there's a ball there to be potted, most of them are heading south into the pocket. And it's 8-0. Four ball might be going. Yeah. Managed to avoid a collision. Shot in the 1, 2 over the side. And, well, if vmaxjoe hasn't worked it out yet, this is another one that is gone. Now, he might be the wrong side of this too here. He certainly is. I mean, I think he can go. He can certainly go 2 rails if he wants to. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the 2 rails and whether the 8-ball would be in play or whether he's just going to again take his medicine and leave the cut, and then he's made that choice. Didn't want to risk running the cue ball. They wanted to guarantee he had a sight in the 3, which is probably the sensible shot. Watch the 7. Well, this is just like potting practice for Cobra. No pressure on him. And I think he'll be most annoyed if he ends up giving away a rack here, knowing what he's like. So rack number 10 is underway, and that's more the Larry break there, just drawn it back to the kitchen off the short rail. 1 ball, sorry, not the 1 ball, the 5 ball is gone. 1 ball is going to be a combo. And then, of course, we have an issue up table. But the way he's sitting with this shot in the 2, I mean, does he want to try and just trickle down into this short side and try the 3 into the side? I mean, you're not potting that out into the table. You can't get enough of the 3 as far as I'm concerned. Well, he's tried to get a bump, I think. Is he right on the money to pot that? What ball did I miss there? I thought he was on the 2. The 2's still over the side. What am I talking about? What ball was that he potted? Well, it obviously must have been the 1. I'm getting really confused here. What the hell happened here? What did I miss? I thought he was already on the 2. Gets the bump. Leaves the cut. And around the back of the 4. I wish I would pay attention a bit more. I'm too busy looking at the chat and back up at the screen. But this is round the corner now. Now I think he can go forward and come up. Yeah. Well, vmaxjoe's not had a sniff these last couple of racks. I think they've been broken round by Cobra. We'll have a look at his stats at the end of this match. They're probably going to be a wee bit scary. Again, 8 ball goes in this time. Cue ball was thinking about it. But again, he's got a shot in the 1. Into the side. And now, what do you do with this into the side? Do you just come straight down past the 6, or do you leave it up there and leave the 2 longs in the gap? Well, he's just decided to come down this far side. He's left it a lot tougher. He might have been able to tweak the cue ball. He might be in no man's land here, though, as well. Well, what's he lining up? Is he lining up the bank? Problem with lining up the bank is he has to watch the cue ball as well at the same time for this 4 ball so he can see it. Cue ball comes out, doesn't quite get the line. And vmaxjoe, well, the 4 ball's going to be awkward because it's blocked by the 5. So he's going to leave the cut. And he just has to pot the 4. He's going to have a shot in the 5. And again, he's found wanting big time there on that cut. It's a tough lesson to learn. It really is. I've got every sympathy for him. But there's a lot that he should be working on to improve his game. Nine ball is slightly off the rail, I think, so it shouldn't be any major problem. Well, you certainly can get demoralised sitting watching this as an opponent. And the nerves are jangling when you do have an opportunity like you had there a couple of seconds ago. So into rack number 12. I think 2 ball went into the top right corner. 1 ball's coming into play. 6 ball has gone. And, well, again, he just has to get back up the table to play that 3 ball into the side. Unless he wants to play it in the gap between the 8 and 9. I think to do that, he might have to check the cue ball up a bit if he's going to pot this one, just to stop the cue ball running to the right. It looks as if that's what he's doing. No, maybe not. And now I've got no idea what he's doing, because he's right in the middle of no man's land here. Maybe he was trying to come down this side of the side pocket for the 3 into the side. Now, he's still got a cut. And the cue ball is going to be running loose. But the 4 ball is isolated. There's nothing to interfere with the 4 ball, so you'd think he'd be really unlucky not to have any shot in the 4. He's just that he's sort of taking liberties with it being virtual pool 4 and not a real table. You can get away with these at distance. Well, again, the danger here is coming over to the right for the 7 into the same pocket, because you've got to make sure you bump the 8 or something. You don't want to go into any gap. And he's avoided the 8, and all is good. But he might be just a bit straight, but that's fine. He can jack up and just get a bit of punch into it and come up the table. Maybe wanted a wee bit more punch into it to open up that angle a bit more, just to make it a wee bit more comfortable. But again, you think, well, he's not going to mess this up. He can go 2 rails. Yeah. He's had enough. vmaxjoe is bailing out. He says, "Thank you for allowing me the pleasure to play you. It was just like watching TV, forgetting I was in this. Good match, good luck, enjoy the rest of your day." Now, Cobra's broke off. I don't know whether he's reading the chat, but I think the guy wants to quit reading that. Well, I wish Cobra would read the chat and tell the guy. He's maybe so busy concentrating. I'm not interfering with anything. I'm not typing anything in the chat. I'm going to let Cobra work it out for himself. I think he's maybe so busy looking at the table, he's not focused in the chat yet. But we're pretty much all over. I had a funny feeling this might happen, that he wants to bail out. Well, I mean, I wish Cobra would respond to him to let the guy know what's actually going to happen here. But he's maybe too busy. He's just carrying on. And maybe he's going to type something now. If you want to quit, entirely up to you. Well, that puts the ball back in vmaxjoe's court. He can hit escape, and he can do the correct thing. But as it is, it's 13-0. 6 racks to go as far as Cobra's concerned. Cobra's break is dry, and of course, poor old vmaxjoe's not getting a sniff of a shot. Looking at a push out. And Cobra, well, he has a bank on the 1. And now he says, "I don't mind, I can still learn at my old age." I wonder what age he is. double bank. Now, here's a little testy one. 2 ball to drop into the side. And vmaxjoe says, I wanted to offer you saving some time. Well, we might be getting a finish to this match now. And that was a testy one, that 2 ball into the side. And of course, Cobra getting on the 3, blocks off the 2. I know that if this was Stubb, he would still be banging away. I've never seen Stubb quit when he's 13-0 down. In fact, I've never seen him 13-0 down, but Stubb tends to quit in the final rack just to stop the match finishing properly and then get fined. And incidentally, I think Stubb is still banned from VP4. I don't think he can get in, judging by the messages he keeps sending me. I think Steve's got a ban on him. Well, this cue ball just needs to roll over, towards the 8 ball. Unless he's going to hold it. I think he's going to hold it. No, he's just holding it for the side. Do everything to avoid hooking yourself behind the 7 and 9. That's the object of this one. Just straight through in the gap. So Cobra not doing anything stupid. And this is what I keep talking about. I mean, it sounds obvious to say it, but it's so easy to be careless when you're maybe not a player of Cobra's standard and do stupid stuff and hook yourself. Cobra's generally not going to fall into any traps like that. And the main reason is you see those coming while you're playing. While you're shooting, you should be aware of situations that you can easily get yourself into if you don't give that care and attention to what you're about, what you're doing. And that's another lesson. It's so easy to get sloppy and careless when you're 13-0 up. And now 14. Well, I think it's good odds now, looking at the scoreboard, that we're heading for a whitewash here. And like I say, the only way vmaxjoe is going to get something here is a mistake by Cobra and a combo in the 9 by vmaxjoe with ball in hand or something. That's the only way this is going to pan out, that he's going to get a rack in the board. But I think Cobra has ran a fair few racks here in this match as well. Having said that, I mean, when you look at he's probably ran, I'm guessing offhand here, at least 7 racks that he's broken ran. At least 7, if not more. And we'll find that out at the end of the match, provided the match actually finishes, which we think it might be now. It should make very interesting reading. Well, the 4 ball goes past the 8. I think he'd a quick glimpse at it. Well, maybe not. It's too tight. So he's going to sneak round by the back of the 8. Didn't catch the 8. Perfect in the 4. Well, this has been 45 minutes of a blitz so far from Cobra. He's had those couple of scratches in the break. He's had maybe 1 or 2 dry breaks. And that's pretty much about it. And I think a ball went into the top right-hand corner. He's going to have a cut in the 1. He's going to be able to... Well, he might risk coming back across and interfere with this 6 and 8 ball here to get a shot in the 2. And he is going to do that, and he's going to just fall right nicely into that gap. Little bump in the 6. Now, let's have a look. Is he thinking about the 4-8, 4-7 combo? No. He's just going to spin this up a bit for the 4 into the side, unless it goes in past the 9. Yeah, it does go in past the 9. Well, he might feel demoralised, but there's no shame in it. You've just, take your beating like a man and live to fight another day. And hopefully, vmaxjoe has maybe learned something about his game and whereabouts he's at. And like I said earlier, don't think you're all that impressive if you're playing in challenge rooms and thinking you're doing well, because you can do reasonably well in challenge rooms depending on the type of player level that you're playing amongst. But if you get into a challenge room with this guy, Cobra's just going to blow you away most of the time. And vmaxjoe certainly learned that. It has been an absolute procession here. Well, interchange X and Albinario. I think you're struggling to get your calls right, guys. 19-4, 19-3 respectively. And I think you'll certainly be changing that to 19-0 before the end of this. So 2 balls gone. Thin cut in the 1. 6 ball gets out the way, and he can try and manufacture the combo here with this 3-8. Needs a little bounce, and that's good enough. Now, again, it just looks like off the short rail, or he's going into the corner to come out. I mean, he can go off the short rail up top, come back into the table, anywhere near the 6 ball. That'll do fine. Now he's got a choice whether he wants to just leave this long into this bottom left-hand corner or try and run the cue ball a bit, maybe to drop it into a side pocket. And that's what he's going to do. (19-0). No, you're not getting away with that, Albinario. You're not getting away with that. The evidence is there. But, sight unseen, you can only make a judgment after a couple of racks. We saw that vmaxjoe had a couple opportunities, but, they very quickly went away. So we won't be long left here. We're 51 minutes into this match. And don't forget, I mean, last night, Romario, on that one loss side, against, was it Sergaresh? Romario was 5-3 down. And he won the next 13 racks. Or 12 racks, I think it was. He won 12 in a row. He didn't run 12 in a row, I hasten to add. He's not that good, but he won 12 in a row and blew Sergaresh away. And we saw everything from Romario, the usual thing, the good, the bad and the ugly. But I have to say, Most of it was good from Romario last night. vmaxjoe plays the push out. He's left to cut up the table. And this could be a quick rack, because if Cobra does get this cut up the table, he'll be coming across for the 2-9 combo. It's nowhere near easy, this, but he's most certainly going to be going for it. And it needs a bounce. It needs a bounce. And there's how you fall into the trap with not a very good push out. And Cobra, I mean, this could actually go in off the 7 ball. Whether he's going to play that, I don't know. No, he's just played it plain and simple on the hill. So don't run away. We want a quick look at these stats before we all go. I'm going to take a break, shut this down, and get ready for the next one. And probably go and get something to eat as well. And Cobra, 8 ball in the break, plum in the 1 ball. Now, is he going to leave the long cut in the 2, because the 3 ball's up there, and he'll just come up past the 6 ball. Now, you just got to hit this like pocket weight, let the cue ball come up above the 6. I don't think he can hold it below the 6. You really have to hit this soft. Well, that'll do very nicely indeed. vmaxjoe's just explaining to Cobra what 2G means, too good. 2G means too good. Neo is reference to chosen one. I don't know what that means. That might be an American thing. All compliments, he's saying in the chat. I think the Spanish will be favourites, Jose. They'll definitely be favourites tonight. Good luck to them. Unless Ronaldo can do some magic. You never know. Well, this is... unless there's a complete disaster in the next 2 shots. Well, there's a disaster. There's a disaster. Come on, vmaxjoe. Get a rack on the board here. My God. And Cobra's going to be well pissed off at that, I can tell you. Is it going to be 19-1? Is he going to get a rack on the board? Please, God, he gets a rack on the board. Don't do anything daft. Just pop the 6. What the hell's he doing? What the hell is this guy doing? Why did he pot the 7? Does he want to just lose 19-0? Well, fair play to him. Obviously, that's what he wants. That was strange. Well, he should have got himself on the board and at least, get himself into that group of 3 that all won 1 rack. So it's a blitz. 19-0 to Cobra, but that should never have happened there. He should have cleared that table when he had that chance. Right, well, vmaxjoe's had fingers burned seriously. So let's have a look and see how impressive Cobra's stats look. If I can remember what I'm doing here, just hang on a minute. Right, Cobra. I always have problems finding Cobra for some strange reason, and he's up the top. I always ignore him. There he is there. Right, vmaxjoe and delete, and vmaxjoe and go. Break stats. Well, Cobra, 18 breaks, under 1 ball in the break. And I guessed correctly, he had 7 runouts from the break during the match. 7 runouts. He had those 2 scratches on the break. And overall racks high run, he ran 3 in a row. It might have felt like a lot more than that. He was 100% on Moneyball. So, I mean, that was pretty devastating. But that's Cobra all along. That's how he's going to play. given the opportunities, and he has most certainly blown poor VMaxJoe away. And I said the other day, it's more than likely going to be a blitz, having, sight unseen, a new player, checked his rating, but I never thought it'd be 19-0. So there we are. We have Pool Kabouter against Spectre Dawn coming up at 8:30 British summertime. I'm going to get the stream set for that. We have a Acero Mooncake on Sunday, and that's at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And, Slim is off on Sunday, and if he wants to do that one and get up early in the morning and do it, then that's fine by me. I've got no problem. Obviously, Acero's in Japan. Mooncake is in the Netherlands, so there's like a 7-hour time zone difference here, around about 7 hours anyway. So that's the two matches that are left, but the one we're looking forward to, hopefully, is Pool Kabouter and Spectre Dawn later on this evening, and I hope you can join us for that. More importantly, I hope that we can get more of a challenge. It still should be a strong performance for Spectre Dawn. He's got a lot to live up to, and we'll see if he can. So until we meet again, folks, thanks for your company. Did anybody hit a like button? I don't know whether you did, but it would be much appreciated if you take that second just to do that, and hopefully join us later on. So take care, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome to VP4 TV. We have live streams from all the major championships held in VP4 online. On many occasions, I'm also joined in the commentary booth by virtual pool game developer Steve Chaplin. I am Tactical Genius, aka 9ball.com, aka Hugh. Welcome to VP4 TV. We have live streams from
Good night, ladies.
No bar, no pinball machines, no bowling alleys, just pool. Nothing else.